Gypsies! Run for your life! I'll cover you!
Weston-super-Mare was once a beautiful seaside town. People from all around the country would come to visit its great attractions. But now it's fallen into disrepair, attracting drugs, crime and violence. As a result of this, gangs have begun to form out of Weston's Bourneville, spilling into the town centre. In this documentary, we will be exploring the use of violence by different groups and the effect it has on Weston. In the early 70s, a gang known as the Squad terrorised the beaches, recruiting people from all around Weston to join the Bourneville-based gang.
It was really terrifying for everybody, for the donkeys, the horses, and all the public with their little kiddies.
Not a lot has changed today. Gangs are still present in the Bourneville and the violence and excessive force used is still shocking. One victim of Weston's gang problem was Harrison Briggs, a 17-year-old from Weston.
Do you know why you were attacked?
I was attacked because a gang was trying to assert their dominance.
Why do you think you were targeted?
I was an easy target because I was on my own.
Are you aware of any gangs in the local area where you were attacked?
There's a gang of youths who deal drugs and do violent things.
Fair enough. Do you believe that your attack was gang related?
Yes.
He was walking home from a mate's house one evening when he diverted down a back street. He came across a group of youths all in similar attire huddled together at the end of the alley. He walked past them when he thought he heard one of them call out to him. He responded to the group and they began to get aggressive. It was at this point where Harrison was attacked with various weapons, but the weapon that hit hardest was a bottle which was smashed on Harrison's head, splitting the skin and leaving lacerations so severe he needed stitches. He managed to fight back just enough to get himself away into hospital. We wanted to find out if this level of violence was a regular occurrence within Weston, so we contacted PC Paul Chaplin, a member of the Avon and Somerset Police Force, to ask him some questions about gang violence.
So first question is, have you ever encountered a gang in your line of work?
Yeah, frequently.
Frequently, okay. Could you explain a situation where you've had to deal with a gang?
Yeah, I mean, there's gangs operate at all levels. I mean, you could have a gang, for example, who are engaged in antisocial behaviour or low-level drug dealing, say Weston-super-Mare, and you could have a gang dealing with higher levels of drug dealing, carrying knives, maybe even guns in Bristol. So again, you've got different levels. I deal with sort of between the two extremes, if you like. And recent examples would be in Weston-super-Mare, where there were a gang with carrying out antisocial behaviour and dealing drugs in the Bourneville estate area. And as a result, some of that spilled into Weston Town Centre, and we had an exclusion area around Alexandra Park. So that was sort of a few square yards in the middle of Weston, which was basically subject to an injunction, and there was a curfew, and that dispelled a lot of the problems.
And the use of knives and other weapons would be a way of asserting dominance?
Yeah, I'd say so. There's certainly evidence of that. A lot of these guys carry knives. Some of them, very few of them, carry guns or say they carry guns, and obviously if you've got even the slightest rumour that a gang might be carrying a gun, obviously they're going to hold a lot of sway over people.
Yeah.
Weston has also suffered from a gypsy problem over the years. As well as quite recently, gypsies came from far and wide to visit Violet Crumlish, known as Lady Diane, amongst the traveller community, who was suffering from bowel cancer at Weston General Hospital.
Have you personally ever had to deal with gypsies?
Yes, gypsies and travellers on a number of occasions.
Would you please mind explaining a situation when you've had to deal with a gypsy?
Yeah, most of the times I've had to deal with travellers has been issues with regards to trespass, where caravans have gone onto land where they weren't allowed to be, and I've spoken to them about that and dealt with issues regarding their eviction and other issues.
Would you ever regard their behaviour as violent?
Sometimes. I mean, like any other section of society, any other community or culture, you get issues and you get problems. I've dealt with travellers who've been absolutely fine, and I've dealt with travellers who've been involved in serious crimes, so everything in between.
We wanted to get the other perspective, to find out if gypsies are really as violent as the media portrays them to be. So we interviewed a gypsy from a local travelling community.
Can you describe to us what it's like to be a gypsy at your age?
It's not very nice, you know. It's like people bully you and stuff. You just gotta, just kick the shit out of them, stamp on their fucking faces. People like that I can't fucking stand.
How do you identify the dominant or alpha male or female in your community?
It's fucking me. It's always me.
Or like
I'm the fucking king.
characteristics,
Because I'm the fucking king.
How would you describe yourself and by extension the traveller community?
Steal a bit. Fight a lot. I don't know. It's like, how do you want to describe it?
Would you argue that violence is glorified within your community?
Quite a bit. I don't know. It depends how you see violence is glorified. Like, I fight a lot. My friends fight a lot. I'm always king. I'm the king.
So do you like fight to like sort out
Nah.
arguments?
Just
or
for the fun of it. Yeah, if someone's looking at me funny, he's like, hey,
So,
come over here. You and me, right now.
so do you agree with the use of violence?
Yes.
The interest Charlie expressed in violence and the glorification of fighting have revealed his personality on camera to be very aggressive and agitated. It's this sort of behaviour that causes trouble within the community. Our final contributor knows the power of gang and gypsy violence very well. We spoke to Miles, a local builder and construction worker who has encountered gypsies and gangs in the past. Could you please explain to us in your own words why gypsies and gangs are so interested in tools and workmen, sort of? Yeah.
Well, it's the nature of the beast, really. Tools are portable. You know, if they can get in there quickly, they can get it back to their van quickly. They're easy to sell. People always are after tools. I mean, the number of times I've been asked, do you want to buy a drill? Do you want to buy a chainsaw? Do you want to buy a leaf blower? By some pretty shady looking characters. Because they've nicked it, they want to sell it quickly, earn some money. So tools and things like that. But I mean, they're not just tools. I mean, they'll come down, I've seen them take away diggers on trailers and things like that.
Would you regard their methods of stealing as violent? Or
No, but I don't think so. I mean, it can be a bit threatening sometimes, intimidating if you come across them, especially in the act. Then yeah, you've got to watch yourself. I wouldn't want to cross three men, doing something they shouldn't be doing, because the odds are they'll. Well, yeah. A friend of mine years ago, who is a gypsy, nice lad, used to do car sales, bit of scrap metal and all that. He had his caravan stolen by the gypsies, and it went back to a site somewhere near London. And he went up there. He found out where it had gone. He went up there, and he was too scared to go on site.
really?
Yeah, he was too scared to go on site. He phoned the police, and the police said, "We're not going on." Simple as that. The caravan was gone. And I was telling you a story earlier about a friend of mine that went on holiday, and he had a new quad bike, which was in his garage, and the garage was quite secure. The lock was a good lock, etc., etc. He came back to find a chainsaw the door out.